first, we will have Brother Jem Bangun asking about his experience of teaching and his challenge.
The first question is, what are some of the biggest challenges you face with teaching children with special needs? From there, my biggest challenge is number one is how to create a lesson, a good lesson plan. At the same time, also how would you basically how as a person who for the deaf people because we use sign language, how we could translate the lesson properly into their language. That's one of the biggest challenges. Second is the materials used and also the methods or the methodology of pedagogy that we use for it. So it's very different from another school. So as a teacher, you should be equipped with those skills. You cannot just teach them right away. Of course, you should know sign language. At the same time, you should also know interpretation. Both of this, you have to master the skills before you can teach pedagogy.
Okay, now let us move to the next two questions. For the first, we asked also two questions about the government system regarding the special education, like how the government will intervene this one.
So good morning, sir. So I have the first question I want to ask you is about how does the government ensure equal access to special education services for all students with disabilities? In this case, is the
From there, my biggest challenge is number one is how to create a lesson, a good lesson plan. At the same time, also how would you basically how as a person who for the deaf people because we have an ongoing debate regarding how the special education should be in the Philippines, and then we have also an argument, especially now, on the concept of inclusion or inclusive education. For the government, they are thinking that when you say inclusive, so we have these regular students and the children with special need to be integrated. But we disagree. That's not inclusivity. Inclusivity should start with an awareness of their condition, not just allowing those students with special needs to join the regular class. But when we say inclusivity, it means the whole system should be have this basic concept on how to be an inclusive society. Kasi, again, their idea is just including them to a regular class, inserting them without accommodation. Sometimes they forget about the accommodation.
Comment. Now we move to the family. Brother Hong, you asked a question about the family of the children with the special need, how their relation, how their challenges was.
So are you dealing with the special education? So let us, can I ask you about now, because we know that the family also have difficulty about to deal with the deaf also the special children. So how can you manage also, how can you support the family in this case?
So number one, based on also my experience, one of the major concerns for the parents is acceptance. So it's really hard for the family to have someone who has special need.
So if the parent is hearing and the child is deaf,
Of course, number one is it's heartbreaking for them to have a child who is deaf, or for others to have a child who has autism, who are blind. So number one is acceptance. Of course, if you have someone in your family who has a special needs, of course, so the first thing that they will think is how will we do this? How will be his life in the future? So from acceptance, so there is a difficulty in accepting their children, and then they have also the tendency to deny their child. And then the next step will be, if there's a denial, the next step is they lack awareness. So sometimes they hinder themselves to understand the needs of the person. The first thing that they will come into their mind is to solve the problem. So they wanted to, for my deaf child, I want my child to become hearing. For my blind child, I want my child to become could see. So the first thing that they do usually is to go to the doctor and ask for cure. What if there's no more cure? What will you do? So the next step should be acceptance, and then understanding the situation and learning from it. From there, so siguro kasi based on my experience, for example, for my deaf students, their frustrations also is that their parents do not understand them because their parents do not know how to sign. How could they communicate if the parents do not know how to sign? The same thing also with parents. The same thing, the parents are also hurt because they cannot communicate with their children. They cannot communicate with their child. He or the mother or the father could not express his love because the deaf child could not understand. So where's the basic problem? You mother or you father do not know how to sign, so you cannot communicate.
That is about the family. So now we will move to another area, which is about the children with the special need or the deaf particularly that he has been teaching in the past. That how are they now like that? So will be asked by Brother Ivan.
So regarding to your sign language experience with us until now, so can you share some success stories or, for example, of progress that you have witnessed in them?
Of course, there are also a lot of success stories when it comes to my deaf students. Siguro, as a teacher, ganito na lang. Siguro, as a teacher, my aim, my goal is for their success always. We always push them, no matter what happens. One which is example is, one of my teacher, Jose Senlan. He's now an editor, video editor right now. He's earning by himself, so he won a lot of awards in film, and he is a film director, a storyteller, so something like that. And also with my other students. My other students are working, they are professional in their own rights. They have families already, and they can survive by their own, by themselves. So as a teacher, what we really do is really to aim to that. We push our students. We teach them values. We don't give up easily.
Thank you very much. We really appreciate your time and your sharing your experience. We have learned a lot from the way you handle the situation, the way you really understand those who with the special need.
So right after the interview, so I was realized, or this realization sparked a fire within me. It wasn't just about a deaf education anymore, but it was about building a truly inclusive environment where every student, particularly those deaf student, regardless of their backgrounds or ability, feels seen, heard, or understood in their preferred language, and empowered to reach their full potential. The path forward seems clear now for me, filled with a commitment to ongoing learning and to deep respect for the rich tapestry of human experience that exists within our classroom.
Through our interview with Sir Mike, I gained a profound understanding of challenges educators face, particularly when teaching deaf students. It is not just about conveying information, it's about finding creative ways to engage students who cannot hear or speak. Sir Mike emphasized the importance of creativity in lesson planning to capture the students' attention and facilitate their learning. Moreover, technology plays a pivotal role in modern education for the deaf. Teachers must stay updated with the latest tools and techniques to enhance communication and learning. Patience is another crucial quality, as progress can be slow and requires consistent effort. Additionally, educators extend their support beyond classes. They assist parents in navigating the complexities of raising a deaf child, providing guidance and strategies to overcome everyday challenges.
After the interview, I saw there are a lot of things to be done in the field of education, both special education and the thing we call normal education. The different perspective of those who really work in the field of special education are different from those who are working in organizing the system of education. The teacher for the children, the deaf, the blind, particularly, has different perspective. The professor also shared that deaf people need a different kind of classroom setup, and the visual aid is needed. I agree with the professor, because it is self-evident if I don't know the language, how can I learn something from that language? And the deaf have their own language. It is a good thing to promote the inclusive education as the government is doing, but I think there must be a further dialogue between the two, those who work in organizing the system and those who really teach how to come up with a new things which is better. Because I saw there are some that did not agree in putting the deaf children in one classroom full of hearing children. So therefore, the further dialogue is needed.
For me, so my heart addressed very important points. First, about how the deaf can study and be in an environment which inclusive, which means that create an environment for only them to study and to learn effectively. The teacher must also have to know the sign language and to enter into the situation of the deaf. Based on his experience of deaf, I also appreciate what he shared, and I think inclusive education must also address the tendency to make the student available for. It's like the ability of the student must be first, and not to be mixture between the normal student and the the deaf or the disability children.
PWD stands for Persons with Disabilities, and reflecting on this topic brings to light the importance of inclusivity, accessibility, and understanding in our society. It is crucial to recognize and appreciate the unique challenges that individuals with disabilities face on a daily basis, whether they be physical, mental, sensory, or cognitive. One key aspect of reflection on PWD is acknowledging the strength and resilience that many individuals with disabilities exhibit, despite facing barriers and obstacles that others may not fully comprehend. They continue to navigate the world with courage and determination. Their experiences offer valuable lessons in perseverance, adaptability, and the power of a positive mindset. Moreover, reflecting on PWD prompts us to reconsider our attitudes and behaviors towards inclusivity. It is essential to create an environment that is welcoming and accommodating for all individuals, regardless of their abilities. This includes providing accessible facilities, promoting equal opportunities, and fostering a culture of empathy and respect.